And then light the fuse, it's like everyone says, oh, it's so weak. When you go down, and unless you've got an enemy weakened and slagged, you're never going to kill them. But it's just bollocks. You guess that's the thing. They don't understand. Light the fuse isn't something you spend 1 point on and then forget it. Light the fuse is something that takes a bit of investment, but it's just better than second chance or whatever the default alternative is, because enemies always run behind cover, and unless you've got something like a Norfleet to hit them behind it, or whatever that homing rocket launcher is, you're screwed. But with light the fuse, you can hunt them down and stuff, and there's like, I think it's strip the flash, there's like a skill to it immediately to it, right, and you invest in that, and then you've got all the, it gives you like plus 60% explosive damage when you're in that light the fuse phase, and that's enough to get anything done. It's enough to get pretty well. Okay, it's not going to kill every enemy, but then again, you never kill every enemy in Second Wind. What is it called? Fight for your life. That's it. And then there's class mods that can boost it up even further, so you do crazy amounts of damage when you're in it. Like pretty much any standard enemy that isn't armored, you can kill when you're in your like the fuse phase. I guess you have to TNT them enough. But anyway, and then there's also Krieg. He's got so many awesome skills, like his release the beast. That is just OP-ness if I've ever seen it. The fact that you can just take as much damage as you want and then instantly regenerate it, get about 5 seconds of invincibility, and then have this period where you do even more melee damage, and then have this damage reduction base, so you have more health. And then at the end of it, you don't even have to wait for it to recharge. It instantly does it. I mean, that's just madness. Then there's blood explosion. I mean, that's crazy. You know, it's just like you smack one enemy and then suddenly you've got 2000 XP because every enemy nearby that's... I don't know. Krieg's good, but the thing is, Krieg is pretty much the best class at slicing up stuff that's easier to slice up. But then when you go to enemies like, I don't know, what's his name, Wilhelm, that have all these like special anti-melee attacks, constructors as well, they have that ground stomp thing, stuff that's, or what's another thing, buzzards, he's completely hopeless against them, stuff like that. One basically, Krieg can either completely decimate something or really struggle to do it, and I don't know, that's why, that's in each class has its own strengths and weaknesses and their own playstyles. Like, that's another thing about Krieg, like his playstyle is so radically different from everything else. If you try and play with him for any period of time and then switch to someone else, you're going to do terribly because you're like a commando and you're charging at them thinking, oh, what am I doing? I'm a commando, I'm supposed to sit back, let the turrets take the hits, and then slap them with a B shield. I mean, obviously, you don't always have the B shield, but you should. It's a good shield, and that's why I'm spending hours getting the damn thing. I want my guns to actually do some damage on these OP enemies. Come on. Oh, crouch. That's that. Class mod. Forbearance. Don't even know what that skill is. It's tied to accuracy in some way, it looks like. And I don't know, accuracy isn't something that appeals to me. Yeah. Originally I always prioritized damage, the most important thing, but I was just like, oh, if it does more damage, use less bullets. But then I realized bullets are just everywhere. So you need a good balance. Like this thing, for the first few hours or playthroughs or whatever of Borderlands, I pretty much used nothing but Jacobs because I just looked at the damage stat and that was it. But now there's a lot more you have to consider. A lot to consider. It's like, for example, with the B shield, you know, once you've got that, fire rate becomes the number one thing, really. Because the more bullets you put out, you're doing so much damage per shot anyway. Damage becomes a bit of a second factor. Come on. This meat shield's so outclassed. Just double check. What's that? You know, you need a B shield that can actually do some damage and actually give you some protection, because yes, okay, the B shield's capacity isn't that great, but you need something. Don't know what I'm going to farm for after this. I mean, I want to get my commando up to level, because once I've got my commando fully badass, then I can just use him to quickly farm the loot for everyone else. Well, I say quickly. It's not going to be quick at all. I'm still not sure about what I'm actually going to put for my siren, because my sirens is sort of like the team player thing at the moment, where like the siren, pretty much for sirens you can either have a build for solo craziness, or you can be a team player. And seeing as my psycho's already spec'd up for solo and my commando spec'd up for general damage dealing, I have my siren spec'd up to be like a team player. Like, it's got the res and it's got the shoot them to heal them and all that. It's got the what's it called, the apocalypse catastrophic. So it, you know, she can deal damage to help everyone out. But saw that grenade, thought it was something. Wow, that's a blood splatter, isn't it? But yeah, I'm just thinking of what would go well with a siren. If I ever got the Northfleet, I think the siren's the one I'd equip. But I mean, I doubt I'm ever gonna get that. It's such a damn rare weapon. Probably gonna move the Infinity over to her, just because, and you know, the Infinity works best with the shoot teammates to heal them. I don't know. I really need to get up to date on the weapon Slagger. That's something that could work. Unkempt Harold, that's a psycho one. I mean, I know these weapons work for everyone, but like I guess I have each class have their own special weapons. Like, for example, Krieg, I always give him the rapier, just because, I mean, that's just was built for Krieg in mind. And then I also give him a slag on an Unkempt Harold, just to deal some damage when he isn't punching people. Fourth weapon for Krieg, I don't know. I mean, you sort of have to adapt, because obviously you need something that does Whoa, he actually got me there. Ah, damn it. Oh, bastard. Oh yeah, just run away. Just run, coward. Come on, kill him, kill him, kill him. There we go. Of course you wouldn't drop it or anything, that would be stupid. Oh, I saw what happened. The turret mag locked to the wall, so the Hunter Hellquest went after me rather than it. It's easy to forget when they're targeting your turrets just how much damage these guys are actually putting out. Oh, someone's online. Normally I turn notifications off, but this is a bit of an impulse video, so not going to bother. So there you go, shout out to that guy. Let's see, how long have we been recording for? Half an hour. Wow, this video is going to have a great audience retention. I'm going to give it 8 more minutes. If I haven't got it by then, I'm just going to say screw it. I'm going to go to bed. Try tomorrow. But yeah, I think. Flame of the Firehawk. I mean, obviously that's seen as a mini Krieg weapon, but I haven't invested in Hellborn, so I don't know. For Krieg, basically the shields I would use are, obviously he's gonna have a B, because if he goes up against someone, he he can't melee to death. I want him to have something to hit them at range. Rough Rider, that's my number 1 shield for him, just because the way I've spec'd up on him, shields are utterly redundant, so if I can give him all the benefits of health. But that's the thing with Krieg, because of that release the beast skill, the only time you can die is when you're rampaging, or when you're, if they damage you so much that you never get a chance to hit it when you're at 33%. And if you can boost your health with something like the Rough Rider, then you've got a bigger gap. Yeah, Rough Rider. Terramorphous, what's it called? The Haida Terramorphous, that's another one you want to go for Krieg, just because it's got the, what is it, Spike, Nova, and Roid damage? I think it's that. It's the only shield in the game that actually combines all of them. I know everyone loves the Love Thumper for Krieg because of the explosions, but realistically the Haida Terramorphous is the better shield. I mean, obviously it's the harder one to get, because you have to kill Terramorphous to get it, but yeah. What else? I guess if you're trying to really invest in melee damage, you go for the Love Thumper, but I don't know. Just don't care. Don't care for the Love Thumper, I'll be honest. But yeah, it's got a slag rapier for Krieg. I mean, that took me ages to farm. I had my I wanted my Siren to get it, but it turned out the Commando was the only playthrough I hadn't done the bottle mission yet. And that's the only way to farm for it. So if they increase the level cap again without a similar extra playthrough, I'm gonna have to do that all over again. But yeah, so I don't know. I haven't really thought of my Siren much, because I haven't really, like, because obviously Borderlands is something you sort of play on your own most of the time, just because of difficulties organising. So I'm not really familiar on what loot actually helps your teammates out that much. I think there's a shield that if everyone in the game is wearing the same shield, that boosts the capacity to something crazy, so might have a look into that. What's this? Second wind. Health. I never much cared for that, really. I mean, I guess it's annoying when you pick yourself up and then you instantly get put back down, but I mean, pretty much anything other than Salvador or Krieg, you have to rely on shields a lot more than health. And when you're at Krieg, the second wind health it's actually good to be low, because when you come out of it, you're at 33%, so you can instantly rampage, and then you've got a rampage where you've got your health, but then you've also got your shields, so you can deal a lot more safe damage after picking yourself up. This is so tedious. This is probably the worst part of Borderlands 2, when an enemy just won't drop the weapon. So that's the thing. I like the fact that Torg weapons, you don't have to farm for them anymore. All you need to do is well, I mean, you have to get the Torg tokens, which takes a few bit, but then you're guaranteed Torg tokens. You just have to be patient, build up the tokens. I guess that's the same idea with Seraph weapons, but I don't know, there's just something that you just can't beat the glimmer of gold. Or orange as it is, but it's gold. Is that class mod? So why did you drop so much green that time? See, that is interesting because it's team health regeneration, but I've already got classes that boost team health regeneration anyway, so and that's the kind of thing where it's like a passive ability that if you're trying to play aggressive but help your team out a bit, you'd use, but if it's a class dedicated to team support, you don't really need it. So yeah, those are the only 3 classes I've actually put any time into. I have a Necromancer, but she's only like 15 or something. No, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of the Necromancer, because I guess I like the the idea of Anarchy is clever and all, but I just don't like the fact that it's sort of like the mandatory Macromancer thing. If I ever actually build a Macromancer class, it's probably just going to be something focusing on making Death Trap as powerful as possible. Because that, personally, I'm not a big fan of stacks, because especially with the Macromancer where it's so easy to lose your stacks. And they're you're so dependent on your Anarchy stacks to make your Necromancer good. I'm always a fan of the passive abilities. Like, I never use the kill skill unless I need it to actually level them up. Like, get the higher skills, you have to pick some kill skills, but I never pick them otherwise, because I'd rather have something that's quite good and is in effect all the time than something that's very good but it only lasts maybe like 5 seconds after a kill. Okay, well, we're pretty much hitting 1 o'clock in the morning, so this is going to be the last farm, I think. Just another night of frustration and all that. I don't need your light. I'm probably going to put this video up because, you see, there was a time before where I was doing a wargame commentary. It was like, because if I want to record live on wargame, I always use my professional recording mic. Well, I'm not sure if I go as far to say professional, but my better mic. But because obviously that has background noise, so I thought maybe I'd use the headset, because it's also more comfortable to use that than the professional one. Last chance, and you dropped a damn launcher. You know what, I'm going to do it one more time. It's still 1 o'clock, we haven't ticked over to 1 past yet. I'm going to give this asshole one more chance of redemption. And there, and if he drops it, I'll be surprised. But yeah, after this, I'm gonna do the Rough Rider. After that, I'll probably start spamming for the Torque tokens. Here we go. Nope. Wrong button. Last attempt. I use my Infinity on him. You see, I really like the Infinity, but it's a weak weapon, and I know it's a weak weapon. It's just one of the great Borderlands guns. Because not many people can say they've got a legit Infinity, and I can promise you this is a legit Infinity. All the weapons I use are legitly obtained. Of course, my friends have given me a ton of them that probably aren't, but I keep them in the bank. Pretty much my rule on Borderlands is, if I haven't earned it, not going to use it. Let's see, watch that. Well, that's a pretty good improvement on cooldown, so I'm going to take that. And say, yeah, I'm going to say it, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, Under Hellquest. This has been Rowan. It's clocking into about 40 minutes now, so this has been a long ass video. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.